The ghost trains of our world, the Black Hollow Tunnel incident. As the screen fades in from black, the sound of distant steel wheels echoes through the fog, and a single headlight cuts through the darkness. Before we begin, ask yourself this: what if a train could enter a tunnel and never come out, not wrecked, not derailed, but simply erased, leaving behind no debris, no bodies, no answers, only whispers that still follow the tracks decades later? If stories like that sound impossible, tonight will challenge everything you believe about reality. Welcome back to the channel where we explore true, unexplained mysteries, real-life hauntings, and chilling cases history could never solve. If you're drawn to stories that blur the line between logic and the unknown, make sure to subscribe now and stay with us. What you're about to hear are not campfire legends, but documented accounts passed down through records, eyewitnesses, and investigators who never found closure. Our journey begins in a remote mountain region where the railway bends sharply into a place locals still avoid after sunset, known as Black Hollow Tunnel. Constructed in the late 1800s, this tunnel was carved through solid rock to connect isolated towns and became infamous for accidents, cave-ins, and an overwhelming sense of unease reported by workers long before the incident that would define its legend. On a cold, moonless night, a passenger train carrying dozens of people departed on schedule. The conductor reported clear weather, and the engineer noted no mechanical issues. Station staff watched as the train's rear lantern disappeared into the mouth of Black Hollow Tunnel. But minutes turned into hours, and the train never emerged on the other side. When search crews were sent in at dawn, they found the tunnel intact, the tracks undisturbed, and no signs of collision, wreckage, or human presence at oars, if the train had been lifted out of existence. In the weeks that followed, officials sealed the tunnel, issued vague explanations, and quietly closed the case. Yet that should have been the end, except it wasn't. Railroad workers began reporting strange occurrences. Signals activating on abandoned lines, pressure changes in the tunnel, and most disturbingly, the sound of a train moving through Black Hollow late at night, complete with the rhythmic clatter of wheels and the echoing whistle, even though no train was scheduled. Eyewitnesses described seeing a faint headlamp glow deep inside the tunnel that vanished when approached. Some claimed to hear voices carried on the air, muffled and distant, like passengers calling from another place, while officials dismissed these reports as imagination fueled by tragedy. The sightings continued for decades, shared in hushed tones by maintenance crews, hikers, and even passing motorists who swore they saw a train where none should exist. As you watch these stories unfold, remember this: every legend starts somewhere. Black Hollow Tunnel left behind one undeniable truth: a train went in and nothing ever came out. By the time the name Midnight Sparrow entered railway folklore, it had become something far more disturbing than a simple missing train. Unlike the case of Black Hollow, this disappearance unfolded slowly across maps, timetables, and fading memories. The Midnight Sparrow was no ordinary train. It was a luxury passenger train from the early 1930s, known for its polished brass and velvet interiors. It followed an overnight route through sparsely populated regions, carrying businessmen, families, and crew on a journey that should have taken less than 12 hours. However, one night it departed its origin station and was never officially recorded arriving at its destination. What followed was not panic but confusion. Intermediate stations reported seeing the train pass through. Telegraph operators logged its signal codes, and track inspectors later confirmed that switches had been activated as if the train had moved through them. Yet, there was no record of its arrival at the final stop. Days later, when investigators attempted to retrace its route, records conflicted, testimonies contradicted one another, and some stations denied ever seeing the train at all. Others insisted they had watched it silently pass through the fog, lights dimmed and windows dark. The reports then grew even stranger. Years after the disappearance, people living near abandoned rail lines began describing a train that appeared only at night, moving without sound, its windows glowing faintly and its whistle low and mournful. It earned the name Midnight Sparrow from those who heard it but never saw it clearly. Unlike typical ghost stories, these sightings followed a consistent pattern, the same time window, the same routes, and a similar sense of overwhelming dread reported by witnesses who felt watched, frozen, and unable to move until the train vanished. Some claimed that clocks stopped as it passed, radios cut to static, and animals reacted violently, refusing to go near the tracks. Historians later examined old maintenance logs and found something unsettling. Sections of rail that had been officially decommissioned still showed signs of repeated use. The metal polished smooth, as if wheels had passed over them countless times. While skeptics argue that these phenomena can be explained by atmospheric reflections, auditory illusions, or the power of suggestion, none could explain why multiple witnesses, decades apart, described the same details without ever having spoken to one another. As the Midnight Sparrow became a symbol of unfinished journeys and unanswered fates, it raised the unsettling idea that some things do not truly disappear. They continue elsewhere, running on invisible rails just beyond our understanding. This leaves behind a question that no investigation has ever resolved. If the train never arrived, where did it go? And if it still runs, who or what is riding inside? Asterisk, asterisk. The science of the unexplained are phantom trains still running. Asterisk, asterisk, as unsettling as these stories may be, it's important to explore rational explanations. Mystery cannot survive without scrutiny. Researchers point to phenomena like infrasound low, frequency vibrations produced by wind passing through tunnels, or over terrain that can induce feelings of unease, hallucinations, and even the sensation of being watched. Atmospheric conditions, such as temperature inversions, can bend light and sound, creating illusions of distant trains where none exist. Psychologists remind us that expectation plays a powerful role, especially in locations steeped in tragedy and folklore. In such places, the human brain tends to fill silence with meaning. Yet, despite these explanations, certain details cannot be fully explained by logics such as documented signal activations, synchronized sightings across distances, physical wear on tracks, and the enduring consistency of reports over generations. Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is not that these trains are ghosts, but that they represent moments frozen in time echoes of past events, replaying like recordings in the environment itself. Railways are more than just steel and schedules. They are arteries of human movement, carrying hopes, routines, and lives. When something interrupts that flow, the absence leaves a mark. Whether phantom locomotives are products of physics, psychology, or something we have yet to understand, their stories endure because they tap into a universal fear, the idea that you can be moving forward on a known path and still vanish without warning, leaving no trace behind. As this discussion comes to an end, consider this the next time you hear a distant whistle late at night, or feel vibrations beneath your feet near forgotten tracks. Was it merely an old train, or was it something passing through a space not meant for us? If you have your own unexplained experiences tied to railways, tunnels, or abandoned places, please share them in the comments below. Each story adds another piece to the mystery. If you found this exploration compelling, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay with us. The tracks of the unknown stretch far beyond what we can see, and some journeys, once begun, may never truly end.